Okay. Testing. Okay. I test my mic. Testing. Okay. I think mic is okay. Slide okay. Camera okay. Connection okay. 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 So now already 8 o'clock. Okay, I will start our class now. Okay. So for today, we will continue our class about bio semester 2, chapter 8, transport. So last week we already carry out the transport in Mammalian. So based on MPM learning outcome, last week I already settle the first three learning outcome. Today we will finish up the first subtopic, transport in Mammalian. So I will continue another three learning outcome by MPM. So maybe you guys can see. So for today we will learn about the cardiovascular disease. And then next we will learn about the lymphatic system toward the blood circulatory system. Okay, so we are wasting our time. We will begin now. Okay, so cardiovascular disease. I think this kind of topic, I think in SPM you guys also learn, right? I think, but maybe you already forget. Anyway, for STPM you will learn one more time cardiovascular disease, and then this topic is one of the topic that normally will come out in essay question lah. I think it's no mistaken already come out 2 to 3 times in essay already. And then the marks normally is very high. Normally is 9 marks, 10 marks, even 12 marks. Got 1 year, it even get come out in 12 marks. So actually, this kind of question is one type of hot question, hot topic that you guys should know. Okay, so I think in cardiovascular disease, everyone should know that one condition that we learn in cardiovascular disease is this term, arteriosclerosis. Arteriosclerosis. And then another term that we will learn is atherosclerosis. So actually these are totally two different terms that you need to learn. Arteriosclerosis and atherosclerosis are two different terms, and they give two different meaning as well. So please don't confuse it. So in examination you need to differentiate them very detail lah. Okay, so what is meaning of arteriosclerosis? So arteriosclerosis actually is more to the general name for the causes of cardiovascular disease. So it is actually the condition when our arteries wall condition become hard and stiff, that already can interfere or already affect our blood flow and disrupt the normal working of your circulatory system. This kind of condition we will consider as arteriosclerosis, meaning that when your artery wall become hard or become stiff or become narrower already, your artery wall already have the problem in your artery wall, already affect the blood flow in the artery, then we will consider as arteriosclerosis. And then under arteriosclerosis, we will have three main types of classes: atherosclerosis, and then another one is arteriosclerosis, and another one is Myocardial medianus calcific sclerosis. In our syllabus, we will only focus on atherosclerosis only. Others two, you don't need to know. You don't need for especially for this one, Myocardial medianus calcific sclerosis, and this one you don't need to learn. You don't need to learn as well. Totally you don't need to learn because this is not in your syllabus. But if you want to have the extra knowledge, you can search about it. Okay. So actually, arteriosclerosis, it actually is the arteriosclerosis is one type of class that have the same name. So actually, in the real definition, in the detailed definition, it's about the thickening of arterial wall, small arterial vessel, sorry, arterial vessel with one or two layer of smooth muscle cell. So actually arterial, so already mentioned arterial. Arterial meaning that it is actually involved only arterial vessel. Meaning it is involved in only arterial only. The small artery vessel. So actually there are two class also, but you don't need to, as I mentioned, this is not in your syllabus. You no need to learn. Just extra knowledge to you lah. Because in your syllabus is about arteriosclerosis. So if you want to explain about arteriosclerosis, you need to involve this lah. But just in general explanation only. You don't need to learn in more detail lah. Okay, another one is what say Mangelberg medial calcified sclerosis. So this one is about the calcification process that affect the medial of large and medium size of artery. So this is another type of hardening because due to the calcification. Calcification is one type of calcium. So we know that calcium is the main component of the bone, right? When we drink more high calcium ion, then we can treat our bone, right? Increase the hardness of the bone. So calcification actually is one type of hardness process due to the accumulation of calcium ion. So yeah, you don't need to learn too. You don't need to learn in detail what are their mechanism. You don't need to learn. Okay, but this kind atherosclerosis, this one you must learn. This one is on your syllabus. So atherosclerosis is one of the classes under arteriosclerosis. So what are the definitions? So this is the definition of atherosclerosis. So atherosclerosis actually is one kind of cardiovascular disease, and then where the interior wall of the arteries are damaged, inflamed, and narrow because of lipid deposit in their wall. So actually, in the arteriosclerosis, the main effect is interior wall of the arteries. The interior wall of the artery is not involved in exterior. Dia dekat dalam punya. So if you see this diagram, this is the uh, artery vessel. So actually in normal artery vessel, this in the middle part should be have the artery column one. At the middle part should be empty space one, because empty space is need to for the blood to flow. But for the arteriosclerosis disease, for those who have the arteriosclerosis, so the interior wall of the artery wall is already accumulated with the lipid deposit. So all of the lipid component so that is why the people many we know that when we eat the high fat food content like french fries, fried chicken, fried rice, all the yang goreng punya lah. Semua makanan-makanan yang terlibat goreng punya, lemak punya, semua makanan ni akan menyebabkan sakit jantung kan. So one of the main reason is due to this atherosclerosis, because it already affect our blood flow in the artery wall because of the lipid deposit in here. So if you see here, actually the lumen space is very narrow now. In original, the lumen should be very should be circle like this. The normal lumen should be circle like this. The space is very big, but for now, for this kind of patient, the lumen now still only at here only. Sangat kurang je, very it already become narrow, meaning that all the blood, all your erythrocyte, leukocyte, the blood component only can flow and only can pass through this narrow space only. Others already be blocked by the lipid deposit already. So you will see here there are plaque and thrombus. So for our syllabus, you will learn how does it form, how this lumen, how this thrombus and this plaque is formed. So we know that lipid deposit, but why say that when lipid deposit at here, it will form the thrombus and plaque at here? So we will see the mechanism. Okay, so the mechanism involved, there are four main process. Four main process will be involved. Damage to endothelium, fatty streak formation, lipid plaque lesion, and complicated plaque formation. Okay, so what are they? What are they? We go to one by one. Okay, so as we know that the structure of the artery, this one you learn in SPM, I think. Although STPM you not learn about the blood vessel, but I think in SPM you should know the structure of the blood vessel already. And then within our blood vessel, we know that what uh there are the muscle tissue layer we call as endothelium. So endothelium actually is lying inside the artery wall. Okay, so actually the first step of the atherosclerosis is that the endothelial layer is already damaged. So how it's damaged? So when they are the when the endothelial layer is already damaged, this will cause the smooth muscle inside the artery wall, within the artery wall, will start to migrate into the blood, into the lumen. And then the macrophage and smooth muscle will invade intima and accumulate the lipid at here. Right here. Okay, so first step is your endothelial layer of the artery wall is already been damaged. Dia dah rosak, and then what will happen is it will happen fatty streak formation. Okay, what is fatty streak? Fatty streak is that when your endothelial tissue layer is already damaged, your macrophage and the macrophage macrophage and the smooth muscle cell will start to engulf lipid. Because if your endothelial layer is already damaged, your lipid now is already accumulated at here. Because in normal condition, lipid components should not able to should not able to what inside the blood lumen one, should be not. But for now, due to your lipid content is too high, it already damaged your endothelial tissue layer, and your smooth muscle tissue now is starting to migrate dia macam keluar lah. Sepatutnya your smooth muscle tissue semua dekat dinding artery ni, tapi sekarang dia starting to release out. Your muscle cells starting to release out. Okay, now this one what will happen is your macrophage will detect lipid as the foreign molecule. Dia akan detect macrophage, dia akan tahu ini lipid sepatutnya dia tak boleh dekat. Lipid punya dia bukan dekat blood component, blood inside your blood. If you still remember your blood component, no lipid, right? They should know lipid as in your blood component. But for now, lipid component for your blood is very high. Your macrophage will now starting to trigger their innate immune response to detect that the lipid molecule inside the blood, within the blood, is the foreign pathogen. So they will start to initiate the phagocytosis, but actually lipid is not pathogen. So when your macrophage is starting to engulf or phagocyte the lipid molecule, but actually it cannot hydrolyze it, because lipid is not pathogen. Actually, the function of the macrophage, the phagocytosis, it only can release the enzyme that that only can lyse the pathogen, the bacteria only. They are doubly hydrolyze lipid molecule only. So when it cannot hydrolyze, what will happen is it will form the foam cell. Foam cell, meaning that the macrophage now is not a macrophage. It will become inactivated form we call as foam cell, that all the component that is within inside the macrophage, semua komponen tu hanya ada lipid. Dia tak boleh function lah. Karena sepatutnya function dia perlu hydrolyze lipid ni, tapi hydrolyze lipid ni, tapi in the real situation macrophage tak boleh. Ya, memang tak ada enzim yang boleh hydrolyze lipid punya. Tak ada. Dia hanya ada enzim yang boleh hydrolyze bakteria je. So tak ada, memang dia akan maintain at there. Maintain lah. So maintain at there meaning that the macrophage tak boleh bekerja langsung lah. Dia tak boleh bekerja lah kerana semua lipid dekat badan dia, so dia tak boleh function. It will form the inactivated form called as foam cell, and then it will accumulate at here. Totally accumulate at here. Dia akan accumulate semua dekat sini. Semua dekat sini. And then this one, when the accumulation is happen, it will form the fatty streak at here. So next, when the fatty streak is more and more, later it will form the lipid plaque. Lipid plaque. Meaning that your smooth muscle will start to proliferate, collagen and other ECM deposition extracellular lipid will start to accumulate here. They are going to start to accumulate at here. And then you will see this diagram. Sepatutnya ini lumen awak. Ini normal lumen awak. Tapi dia macam, you will see this diagram, they are starting to narrowing now. Narrowing the blood lumen. And after finally you will form the lipid plaque at here. Ini lipid plaque. Sepatutnya sini bukan plaque. Sepatutnya sini should be the lumen. But for now, it will already form a plaque, and finally it will form the thrombus. It will form the thrombus. When the plaque is rupture, is already plaque, yang ni plaque, dia sepatutnya sekarang dia terdekat dekat artery wall, but when this plaque is already ruptured from the artery wall, it will form the thrombus. So this is the overall process of atherosclerosis. Okay, so in this diagram, more detail. So actually this is the plaque formation. The plaque formation as well, and then this is the thrombus. So this thrombus actually is already it is come from this kind of plaque. So when this plaque is already ruptured from the artery wall, it will form thrombus. Thrombus. So memang kalau tak control lagi, memang dia akan totally block the lumen as well. So if you see this kind of patient, the lumen now is very narrow. I think here only. Only this part, the blood can flow. Others part already blocked, already totally blocked. So this kind of patient is very dangerous lah. Actually very dangerous already. Okay, so this one is another diagram. So more detail. So this one is normal punya patient. So you already mentioned about the artery wall. So the surface of the artery wall contain the endothelium tissue. So this is the arteriosclerosis process. After the arteriosclerosis process, dia akan macam ni. So all the lipid component is now already accumulated here. Now all the lipid component are accumulated here, and then due to the macrophage cannot engulf them, and then the foam cell are accumulated at here. The outer the mechanic the normal the blood our blood vessel was starting to form another layer, starting to form the smooth muscle tissue at here. So dia macam menjadi satu komponen dekat sini lah. Satu komponen untuk salah satu komponen dia combine together sebagai salah satu komponen, tapi actually not. So this one, if you see here, all of these are lipid. Semua lipid ni. They are accumulate lipid. Semua dia accumulate lipid. So when your lipid component is increased again, your foam cell is increasing again, dia akan banyak lagi and banyak sampai sehingga totally block this. So it is very dangerous. I think it is very dangerous process lah. So you need to this one is the mechanism of the atherosclerosis, and then this is all the explanation. So normally, as we guys know that the main causes of atherosclerosis is due to the high level of the low density lipoprotein cholesterol lah, what we know as bad cholesterol. So I think in SEM 1 you all know, like, we have two types of cholesterol, LDL and HDL, and I think everyone know LDL is the bad cholesterol, low density lipoprotein, because this kind of cholesterol it cannot dissolve in water. That tak boleh dissolve in water. It only can low solubility in water but high solubility in lipid. So yeah, you need to so normally this kind of cholesterol, as you guys know, awak makan ayam goreng, semua yang goreng punya akan banyak lah high cholesterol level. So okay, so actually this is an explanation. Macrophage will phagocytes then become filled with the LDL, and then large number of foam cell lead to development of fatty sweat, thought to be the initiation of progression of atherosclerosis. So underlying smooth muscle fiber will migrate into the inner lining of artery and multiply them. Because for now all the muscle tissue is starting to release kerana dia nak form muscle tissue layer at here. Kerana muscle tissue anggap dia sepatutnya dia perlu attach to the endothelial layer. Support dia. Kerana one of the function of smooth muscle tissue is to support the endothelium tissue layer. So memang dia kena kalau lipid terlalu banyak, the endothelial layer is already push up already. Smooth muscle tissue memang akan keluar dan attach to the endothelium layer. So ini kalau dia berlaku lagi, dia akan form the fatty sweat ya. Fatty sweat meaning the fatty acid or the lipid component is already accumulated at here. So and then not only that, this one will also cause more monocyte. See here, cause more monocyte. Okay, this one will also cause more monocyte. Lymphocyte will move into this region, resulting in inflammation. So as I mentioned before, because macrophage now is already detected as the lipid is the for end molecule pathogen. But and then when the macrophage cannot settle it, memang dia akan panggil lagi banyak macrophage and lagi banyak leukocyte to enter this region. Memang punya. Kerana dia tak boleh settle. So dia tak boleh settle, memang dia akan panggil kawan dia. So kawan dia actually pun tak boleh settle punya. Kerana dia memang bukan pathogen, dia lipid je. Tapi macrophage ni memang dia ada otak punya. Dia memang detect punya. Dia detect, oh ini bukan kawan saya. Memang saya akan nak matikan awak punya. Memang saya akan nak bunuh awak punya. So kalau saya bunuh, tak boleh bunuh, saya panggil kawan lah. Panggil kawan untuk bunuh kamu. Tapi kawan saya pun tak boleh bunuh punya. So dia akan, it is a recycle process lah. Recycle process until and many macrophage become the foam cell and then and then until the leukocyte cannot enter it, dia akan memang macam ni lah. So it is actually very important process. So the build up of fatty substance, smooth muscle fiber, macrophage, other cell, include calcium, will form the plaque. So at the long time process, the plaque will be formed. And then when the plaque is formed, all inside this not only have normally is accumulated all the lipid, all the foam cells, and your all your foam cell and your lipid component. Okay. So as the plaque increase in size, remodeling of the artery take place so that the for time of the size of the movement of blood vessel is maintaining. So muscle fiber form a protective fibrous cap which wall off the plaque from the inner lining of the artery and the blood. Macrophage and the outer cell will eventually die within the plaque, recruiting more macrophage to the area, to clean up the debris, Karena macrophage sekarang ni dia pun boleh mati. Kalau dia mati, memang dia akan panggil lagi banyak lagi. So memanglah, memang. So when the plaque become thicker, it will narrow the lumen of the artery and even ruptured by thrombosis to form thrombus. And then thrombus is a clot that forms within a blood vessel or within the heart. So this is the overall process of arteriosclerosis. Okay, so any question about this? Okay, no question. So I hope my explanation is understanding for you. Okay, next we go to the differences between atherosclerosis and arteriosclerosis. Okay, so the definition of these two terms actually is totally different. Because atherosclerosis is due to build up of the plaque and the lipid plaque that made from the lipid component. The arteriosclerosis is the hardening and thickening of artery wall. So totally two different. So many of them will use the definition of atherosclerosis inside this. Hardening and thickening of artery wall, they use atherosclerosis, but actually it is false. Tak boleh, bukan. Because in atherosclerosis, not only this actually is the plaque. Building of the plaque is a very plaque formation is a very important keyword in the atherosclerosis and the lipid component. And then the type of the deposit, fatty deposit. But arteriosclerosis normally is calcium. And then symptom also different. And then the causes is also different because atherosclerosis is due to the endothelial cell is damaged. But arteriosclerosis is due to the elastin fiber of the artery wall. So totally different at all. Okay. So that's all for atherosclerosis. So this is very, very important. Normally, dia memang akan keluar punya. So, kalau dia keluar memang kena spell lah. Okay. So, I hope the process is clear. Next, we go to the hypertension. So, actually, hypertension is one type of the effect that will one type of the fact that will cause cardiovascular disease. One type of the fact. Salah satu faktor lah yang boleh menyebabkan cardiovascular disease punya. So hypertension, another name is normal name is high blood pressure lah. So this one is very simple only. You know that everyone know that the normal blood pressure is 120 or /80 mmHg. So this one is systolic pressure. This one is diastolic pressure. And then this diagram is about the classification. So normally the people that have already higher than 140 and 90 will be considered as hypertension patient. This kind of patient will starting to need to eat the medicine. You need to eat the medicine to control your blood pressure. So how the hypertension relate to the cardiovascular disease? So blood pressure actually, we know that blood pressure is a result of the blood flowing through the artery and the resistance of the artery wall. So So this is the definition, meaning that it is a result that the blood flowing through the outer artery and then the resistance of the artery wall. So maksudnya kalau blood memang darah kami flow through the artery right, but there are also some of the resistance at there. So when there are the resistance at there, the accumulation of these two components will contribute the blood pressure. But actually, there are the formula to calculate the blood pressure, but you don't need to know. You just want to know the definition. Okay, if a lot of resistance is created by either the blood or artery wall, then 3 is more pressure as the blood travel through the artery. So meaning that when there are the resistance, kalau ada halangan dekat blood, when you in the lumen, kalau ada halangan, maksudnya dia memerlukan pressure tekanan yang sangat tinggi untuk memastikan darah awak boleh pass through the artery. Artery. If not, cannot. Memang kan, if you imagine that there are satu halangan dekat sini, dekat macam satu jalan, tiba-tiba ada satu batu besar dekat tengah-tengah. So tengah-tengah. So as you guys know that you need to provide the high pressure to pass through it. Kalau tak ada, memang tak boleh. Memang dia akan dekat sini. Memang dia akan block dekat sana. Tak boleh. Okay. So this one will take more energy to get the blood through the artery. Then your heart has to work harder with each beat. So when your pressure is increasing, so your pressure is siapa yang contribute your pressure? Jantung, right? You still remember that the last week that we learned about the heartbeat, how the initiation of heartbeat is heart is the place to pump your blood, and then it is the place to create the pressure. So if you require very high pressure to pass through the artery, maksudnya your heart is required to work more intensively. So more intensively. So normal people like healthy person, macam orang kerja lah. Orang normal punya kerja 8 kerja 10 faul je. Maksudnya maybe. Tapi orang yang macam ada disease ni, jantung dia perlu settle 20 faul atau 30 faul, 40 faul. Lagi lebih stress lah compared to the normal people. So when your heart need to work more harder, when your heart is required to work more harder, more functioning, required to very high functioning time, you will at long time cardiovascular disease will found you. Next one is about the myocardial infarction. Another term is we call as heart attack. So this is the scientific terms. So it is actually the damage or death of cardiac muscle tissue resulting from blockage of one or more coronary arteries which supply the oxygen-rich blood into the heart muscle. So heart attack, the main reason of the heart attack is due to our heart does not have our heart cannot function already. So why it cannot function? Because our heart does not, our cardiac muscle of the heart is already died. Dah tak boleh, dah mati lah, or already damaged. So if you still know that, although our heart is the key component that pump the blood, but actually our heart also require blood. Memang dia pun kena blood juga. Kena blood juga untuk function punya. Kerana dia ada juga cell dia untuk carry out the metabolic function punya. So memang ada satu coronary, so we know as coronary artery, the blood vessel that provide the oxygenated blood to the heart one, for the metabolic activity one, so that the heart can be pumped, can be functioning normally. But if the atherosclerosis is very dangerous, is already serious until they are the blood or the thrombus form at the coronary artery. This one will cause the myocardial infarction, heart attack. Because your coronary artery now is already blocked. The blood cannot flow already. Blood tak boleh flow kepada jantung kamu. So memang at the long time, your cardiac muscle tissue is die. Then your heart also die, and then you also die. So it is actually very dangerous and very dangerous process lah, heart attack. Okay. So actually this is the explanation. So I think I already explained most lah. The coronary artery, yeah, I think is the small in diameter and especially vulnerable obstruction by arterial. So actually why it is very easily to form, because coronary artery is more smaller compared to the normal artery that locate in the blood. Because it only supply the blood to the heart only. So actually the lumen is very small. So when there are the thrombus or blood thrombus that already form in the blood vessel or within the heart. So this will block the coronary artery, and then they destroy the cardiac muscle. Because the constantly breathing heart muscle is required a steady supply of oxygen gas. So you already destroy the cardiac muscle. The effect is large enough portion of the heart is affected. The heart will stop beating and resulting the cardiac arrest. Such cardiac arrest will cause death if a heartbeat is not restored within minutes by CPR or some other emergency procedure. So memanglah kalau orang tu so memang dia sudden process punya. It is a very sudden process. Because thrombus, I already say thrombus is the blood that already rupture of the blood from the artery wall. So meaning that this thrombus actually can flow anywhere. Dia boleh bergerak mana-mana. So when if your lumen is big enough, then it will flow lah. Dia akan bergerak. Tapi kalau dia bergerak sampai coronary artery, as we know that coronary artery, the lumen is very small, dia akan memang tersangkut dekat sana. Sangkut dekat sana, blood tak boleh cannot pass through, memang akan form the myocardial infarction, and then it will form the cardiac arrest, memang heartbeat will stop. So orang ni memang sudden pengsan punya, memang pengsan terus. Kerana tak ada heartbeat, memang pengsan terus. So normally this kind of patient, you need to quickly do the CPR to him to make sure the heartbeat is continue to starting beating. If not, then the patient normally will die in within few minutes only. Okay, but however, if the coronary artery is partially blocked, this kind of patient will have a chest pain, normally known as angina pectoris, condition known as angina pectoris. So yang ni pun ini adalah signal lah. Ini adalah salah satu signal kepada awak untuk bahawa awak maybe ada something problem dekat your jantung lah. So the pain is most likely to be felt when the heart is laboring under stress and each signal part of the heart is not receiving enough oxygen. For this kind, the blood still can flow, but only few blood can be flow only. So meaning that only certain your cardiac muscle only can receive only certain oxygen gas only. Still it can pump. The heartbeat is still can be beating, but the heartbeat is very slow already because it does not accept enough oxygen to carry out their function. Okay. So what are their causing? So if you know that all these three disease, atherosclerosis, hypertension, and the myocardial infarction, all these three disease, actually the cause are totally same. First of the cause is high sodium intake, high salt intake. Orang yang makan makanan yang garam sangat tinggi punya, garam tinggi punya, memang akan menjadi. So normally this one will cause hypertension first. Orang yang macam ni memang akan lead to the high blood pressure first, hypertension first, and then we will know that hypertension will contribute to arteriosclerosis and also myocardial infarction. So sodium ion is the main sources. Yeah, we know that salt is very important. Everyone need to consume salt every day, but actually the salt that we consume is only very little only, 2,000 milligram only, meaning only 2 gram. Actually, in nutrition, you refer to the nutrition, nutrition or dietitian, they only recommend you consume 2 grams of salt per day only. But I think you know that nowadays, no, 2 gram. I think satu nasi goreng je lah, nasi goreng atau kuih goreng, Maggi goreng. Awak letak banyak garam lah, letak banyak berapa garam. Ini garam je, tak including the soy sauce. Tak kicap lagi. Kalau letak kicap lagi teruk lagi. So that's why there many people get the hypertension and cardiovascular disease because one of the causing is this high sodium ion intake of food. And then if a person consume too much of your sodium, it will accumulate in the body and the body will hold onto the water to dilute the sodium. This one, the sodium ion will be accumulate in your body. And then when you accumulate in your body, because too much, it accumulate in the body, so your body will know that tak perlu banyak. Memang dia akan kena keluar sodium tu semua keluar out from your body. Meaning, water play the role. Water will be to dilute need to dilute in the sodium. So the increase of both of the amount of fluid surrounding cell and the volume of blood in the bloodstream. So increased blood volume meaning that more work for the heart and more pressure on the blood vessel. If you eat more salt, more sodium ion, memang kena banyak air. Water play the role because the water need to dilute the sodium. So when your water is very more is already increased, your blood vessel, artery vessel macam pipe kan. Pipe dia memang macam ni je. Tapi sekarang dia besar, dia jadi bengkak. Kerana dia nak banyak air untuk dilute dia. So when your blood volume is increased, blood pressure also need to increase. Kerana banyak benda. Benar, kerana dia memang kena pump out semua benda. So over time, the extra work on the pressure within the blood vessel will causing hypertension, heart attack, and stroke. So when it causing heart attack, high blood pressure, and then it will cause heart attack, myocardial infarction, and then finally also can cause stroke also. So this is one type of cause you need to know. Another one is about cholesterol. So ini makanan yang goreng punya, nasi goreng, ayam goreng, semua goreng punya. So when you consume higher amount of LDL cholesterol, what will happen is cholesterol will travel in blood plasma mainly in particles that consist of thousands of cholesterol molecules and other lipid bound to the protein. And then we know that we have two types of cholesterol, LDL and HDL. So normally LDL only deliver cholesterol to the cell for membrane production. HDL is the cholesterol that carry excess cholesterol for return to the liver. LDL dia adalah one of the component for membrane punya. HDL dia akan membantu kamu untuk membawa ini LDL kepada liver for the metabolism process. So individual with a high ratio of LDL to HDL are at a substantially increased risk of atherosclerosis. And then source of the LDL normally is trans fat, fried food, processing food, and dessert. Semua makanan ni lah, especially trans fat. Trans fat is the modified fat. The processing fat lah. So ini one of the reason. Another reason, smoking. Smoking is also another reason can cause the cardiovascular disease or that 3 kind of disease because nicotine. We know that cigarette contain nicotine, right? Nicotine is the one type of the drug that already can constrict or narrowing your blood vessel already. function there. So, and this one is one kind of function. Another function is carbon monoxide. We know that when you smoke, you will release carbon monoxide, right? So all these release carbon monoxide, right? Not only release out and also inside within your lung also contain carbon monoxide. So this carbon monoxide will also damage the inner lining of the blood vessel. And then if you guys know that in semester 1 that you know learn carbon monoxide also as a inhibitor in ETC, right? ETC, right? So, and then therefore less oxygen is carried out, resulting less oxygen available for use in the heart muscle throughout the body. And then component of cigarette also will cause oxidant to form, and which may contribute to the inflammation process, increasing oxidation of the outer LDL in the arterial wall. So this is one type, another causing smoking. Another one is obese. Obese. So kalau awak makan makanan banyak, tak control, walaupun awak tak makan ayam goreng ke setiap hari, tapi you not control your diet when you are in obese, when your BMI is higher than 30, you have the high risk to get the cardiovascular disease too. So obesity is associated with blood pressure, blood lipid, blood glucose, and your body weight. And then your adipose tissue will function like a major endocrine organ, producing numerous bioactive peptides called adipocyte. So increase in the obesity people, the increased level of adipocyte will create an imbalance of different physiological functions, which are ultimately linked with cardiovascular disease. And then obesity will accelerate the atherosclerotic process, atherosclerosis, in the adolescent and young adult. And then also the obesity will lead to increase in fat in typically adipose tissue location, but also to significant lipid deposit within the blood vessel organ called the ectopic fat storage. So normally obesity will not running up from the fat lah. Memang when your fat is accumulated in your cell, memang akan menyebabkan banyak masalah lah. Okay. Another one is stress, tekanan. Orang yang stress, yang sangat stress punya, pun akan ada high possibility to have the cardiovascular disease. Although this paper maybe not obese and then it maybe contain high healthy diet, but if this kind of people is under very high stress condition at very long time, you will also can try to beat it. Why? Because we know that stress hormone, a hormone called as known as cortisol. So this hormone actually is to in response to the stress to help to hydrolyze glycogen that store in the liver into your bloodstream. So this is a stress hormone because it need to increase your glucose level. So high level of cortisol for long term can increase the blood cholesterol level, lipid level, blood sugar level, and also your blood pressure because you are in very stress condition. Memang sangat stress punya. So all ini semua benda akan meningkat. So other hormone, not only this cortisol hormone, adrenaline and noradrenaline also play a role in fight and flight response. So a high response of this hormone will cause the change in the promote that build up the blood deposit in the artery. So ini salah satu sebab lah. Okay, another one, amygdala is involved in processing like stress and fear. It also play a role in initiating a stress response. So this one is another hormone, and higher activity in amygdala will also increase in white blood cell production in bone marrow, which contribute to inflammation in the artery. Inflammation of the artery is one of the causes of the atherosclerosis that I mentioned just now. The increase in bone marrow activity and arterial inflammation were associated with the increased risk of cardiovascular events like angina, transplant, heart attack, and stroke. Okay. And then the prevention. Okay, I think this one I don't need to explain more. Exercise is the best prevention. Okay, so what are the benefit of exercise? Ini lah semua ni. This is all the benefit as exercise. that can reduce the cardiovascular disease. So I don't need to cakap banyak lah. But itu exercise is the best prevention. So if you see that this kind is exercise that they run, so not only low intensity or exercise, moderate intensity or exercise, high intensity or exercise. So if you do the exercise, yeah, you can burn roughly 1,000 kilocalorie per week. And then this is a comparison between walking and running. Yeah, we will if you run, we will do a running or jogging. Yeah, your motility rate will be increased, and then will be increased, and also you can more healthier compared to walking. Okay. And then another way is healthy and balanced diet. I think this one I don't need to cakap banyak-banyak. Or everyone know lah. Food pyramid. Okay. So that's all for cardiovascular disease. So I hope no any question. Okay. Now I will go to the last part is about the lymphatic system. Okay, lymphatic system. So lymphatic system, I think in SPM, or all of you know lymphatic system is also one type of transport, and also it play the role in immune response. But in this chapter, we will not talk about the immune response, because in last two chapter 12, you will learn immunity. That part you will learn more detail about the lymphatic organ. For now, this chapter for the lymphatic system in this chapter, you will learn thing about the transport process. The transport process within the lymphatic system. Okay. So lymphatic system, the lymphatic system will collect and return the interstitial fluid to the blood, and then launch bone immune response that defend the body against disease organism and absorb lipid from the digestive tract. So this is the three function of the lymphatic system. But as I mentioned, we only focus on the transport system, which is collect and return interstitial fluid to the blood. So it will collect the interstitial fluid formation from the blood, and then this interstitial fluid will also return to the blood as well. So this is that we will focus. So now we will focus on interstitial fluid formation. Okay, so if you see this diagram, if you know that this one is arterial, and then this one is venous, this one is blood capillary, and then this one is we call as lymphatic vessel, and the green color one is lymphatic vessel. Okay, so I think this one is SPM, you also learn it. So you know that when the blood fluid is passed through the arterial, through the blood capillary into the venue, due to the high hydrostatic pressure caused by the arterial, it will push up some of the component from the blood into the tissue space, into interstitial space at here. It needs more spacing at here. You will see here there are many spacing at here. All this spacing is that contain interstitial fluid. So due to the high hydrostatic pressure, the component like normally you see here, you see here high hydrostatic pressure, small molecule, especially oxygen gas, carbon dioxide, will simple diffuse through the endothelial cell into the interstitial fluid, and then transport of small molecules such as sugar, salt, and your urea, as well as for blood flow of fluid into tissue divided by blood pressure within the capillary through microscopic pore in the capillary wall. So only ini sebenarnya component ni je lah. So the erythrocyte, leukocyte, and platelet will not pass through it. Only this component, sugar, salt, and urea, oxygen, and carbon dioxide will pass through only. So when the blood enter the capillary, network under a rather high pressure, which we call as high hydrostatic pressure, and some plasma will force out from the capillary into the tissue. So when the blood this fluid already leave the blood vessel, this fluid will be called as interstitial fluid. So normally there were no erythrocyte as well, no platelet, but some of the white blood cell and some small protein, nutrient, all the nutrients, salt, carbon dioxide, and oxygen will be able to pass through it. So this is the component that inside the interstitial fluid. Okay, so this one is another, I think another name. Okay, another one I need to focus is about the about the hydrostatic pressure and the relationship between the hydrostatic pressure and osmotic pressure. So we know that as in within the arterial end of the capillary, the hydrostatic pressure is very high, but the osmotic pressure is very low. It's very low. It's very low. So at the arterial end of pressure, capillary blood pressure will force plasma out. The osmotic pressure of the blood is an opposite force acting on draw fluid into the blood flow. So why it happen that the fluid will be flow out from the blood vessel into the blood capillary because of the net flow of the net pressure between the hydrostatic pressure and also osmotic pressure. Due to the osmotic pressure now is very high, and then the osmotic pressure is very low. So if you encounter these two effects, the osmotic pressure inside the interstitial fluid now is positive. Is positive. Because if you know that in the diffusion not only necessary that only the pressure injected from blood forcing out to the in to out only. Actually diffusion also occur out to in. Diffusion also occur. So how it say that only hanya blood the component in the blood is forcing out from the blood vessel into the interstitial space. But why at this time the component inside the interstitial space cannot enter into the blood? Why? Because of this. Because the differences between hydrostatic pressure and osmotic pressure is the counter effect, between the counter effect is about positive. So it will give the positive pressure. So meaning that at here time it will have the positive pressure at here. So if it has the positive pressure, memang dia akan semua komponen dekat sini yang boleh pass through the blood vessel akan keluar. So this why we call as net filtration. Filtration. However, at here, when it comes to the venue end, the hydrostatic pressure now is already start to decrease already. But the osmotic pressure and the osmotic pressure in the plasma and the osmotic pressure inside the interstitial fluid is normally constant. But due to the decreasing of your hydrostatic pressure, if you calculate it 15 plus 3 and minus 28, you will get the negative pressure. Means that inside the blood flow now is already negatively pressure. So negatively is out, meaning that this one is high concentration, this one is low concentration. So all of the component inside at here will be diffused back into the blood vessel. So this one we call as net adsorption. So this one you need to know, although until now never come out that this kind of calculation, but you need to know lah, especially between the relationship between the hydrostatic pressure and osmotic pressure. Okay. And then this is more about the explanation. So the movement is normally due to the hydrostatic pressure and osmotic pressure. So hydrostatic pressure, the definition is pressure exerted on the wall of the blood vessel. And then osmotic pressure is the pressure that produced by the difference in solute concentration across the plasma membrane. So actually, if you see here, osmotic pressure is normally is equal to the solute concentration. Pressure that produced by the difference in the solute concentration across the plasma membrane. So the difference in the osmotic pressure between blood and interstitial fluid opposite the fluid move out the capillary. And then the pressure of hydrostatic pressure is to drive the fluid out, and then the pressure of osmotic pressure is to pull the fluid back. Okay, so at the arterial end, this will cause the water and the nutrient or the small protein blood into the surrounding tissue space. This is why it called filtration process. But at the middle part, the hydrostatic pressure and osmotic pressure is constant, so no movement, no movement. So only simple diffusion is occur only. So this is equilibrium state lah. But at the end of vacuum, due to the osmotic pressure is very high, so the net movement is fluid will flow back to the blood capillary. So this process is called as V-adsorption process. Okay, so this is another diagram. Okay. Okay. So when the interstitial fluid is formed, if you know that this is only interstitial fluid, so later this interstitial fluid will diffuse into the lymphatic vessel, and then now the fluid is now we call as lymph only. So lymphatic system consists of an extensive network of lymphatic vessels that conduct lymph. So lymph is a watery fluid that forms from the interstitial fluid that contain high amount of leukocyte and lipid. So the lymph component is high amount of leukocyte and lipid. Compared to the interstitial fluid normally is about the oxygen gas, carbon dioxide gas, plasma protein, and then leukocyte is very little in amount, and then normally is salt, nutrient, all that. But for in lymph, it is normally contain leukocyte and lipid. Why? Because we know that lymphatic system is more focused on immune response, another function. So it requires higher amount of leukocyte at there. So interstitial fluid will diffuse into the lymph capillary where it will become lymph. And then lymph capillary will join to form the larger lymphatic flow through the lymph node. Okay. So the lymph node, as lymph will circulate through the lymph node, the phagocyte will filter out the bacteria. So actually this one is more about the immune response. This one you will learn in chapter 12 lah. I will explain more detail in chapter 12. So for now, you don't need to learn. You just want to know that interstitial fluid will flow into the lymph and then to causing the and then it will play another role immune response at there. Okay. This vessel will join in circulatory system at the base of the subclavian vein by the way of the duct and thoracic duct on the left hand side and right lymphatic duct on the left hand side. So this one I think is you see this diagram. This is about the lymphatic system. So you know that it will flow finally it will flow through the subclavian vein and also flow back through the subclavian vein and also lymphatic duct. Through this through these two diagram flow back into the blood circulatory system. Okay, so this is about the transport that we learn about lymphatic system, and then finally for today's topic is about the functionless in lymphatic system. So this is one type of functionless, the disease that when the lymphatic system is infunctional. So if the movement of the lymph in lymphatic system is disrupted, it will result the accumulation of fluid inside the lymphatic vessel. So you will imagine that is actually one type of transport, same as the blood circulatory system. So in blood circulatory system, when your artery wall is blocked, it will cause atherosclerosis. But in the lymphatic system, it also maybe have the possibility that there are the block at there. So when there are the block or the lymph flow is blocked, then it will cause the edema. Edema. Oedema, OEDEMA. So Normally, the fact of this causing is due to the parasitic worm that already lodged in the lymphatic vessel that block the movement of the lymph, and then this will cause the elephantiasis. So elephantiasis, elephant, right? So dia akan boleh tengok macam ni lah. Orang patient ni memang kaki dia, not only kaki lah, tengok block, need to see which place that is the block, the lymphatic vessel block. If the lymphatic vessel block is at the neck, then elephantiasis is formed at the neck. When it form at the hand, then it will form at the hand as well. And then this kind of example, normally in normal situation, it will form in the leg. So awak boleh tengok lah dia bengkak punya sampai macam look macam elephant lah. So that is why that it will call an elephantiasis, and this is marked by extreme swelling in limb. So orang macam ni dia memang tak boleh jalan lah, kerana dia terlalu bengkak macam ni. Okay, so I think that's all for today topic. So today we cover about the cardiovascular disease and also lymphatic system. So I think that's all for today. So any question? Okay, so I think no question. Okay, so today class is about 1 hour. Okay. So if no question, so maybe I give until 9:10. If you have any question, you can ask me. I think no question as well. So okay, so we will end our class today. So I think the day after tomorrow is already Hari Raya Puasa and Hari Raya Aidilfitri. So I wish you for Muslim Happy Raya Aidilfitri, and take care for your journey. For those who come back, go to your hometown, stay safe and safe drive. And then I think that's all for today. So thank you and happy Raya and happy holiday. Thank you, and we see you next week. And next week we will enter the transport in plant. We will proceed to plant part. Okay, so I think that's all for today, and happy Raya, happy Aidilfitri, and happy holiday to you guys. Thank you and good night. Bye.